Good evening, sports fans.
No. What? Yeah. Cool. We're not even 10 seconds in. We broke Dev. We can call it quits now. We've done our job.
I honestly didn't expect that as the intro.
With that being said, we'll roll along with it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Tpop. To give credit where credit is due, Dev is doing the host-producer duties for us because we're just skipping the part where all my stuff screws up, and we're just going right to the dependable setup. I am joined once again by my good buddy and partner Toarn.
What's up, fellas?
Once again, DorkyDev. Thank you guys, and thank you again, Dev, for coordinating with us and getting this up and going.
Hey, it's a fun podcast, and I don't want to see it, fall apart due to things that are out of people's control. Like that's just how it is. Like, we want to make sure that we have the opportunity to keep doing this one, because I have fun being on it from time to time, and it gives me to flex my wings in the future in a different way, potentially. We'll see how that goes.
Right, yeah, there you go.
And we'd like to think we're at least somewhat entertaining. Like,
I
it's fun to
think
watch
we are.
You
too.
guys entertaining.
I think we are. I think, of course, what's funny is, like, our funniest moments are, of course, the ones that happen in the moment. Last week was an absolute utter meltdown, but it's probably one of the funner episodes in recent memory. Like, well, let's be real. It's definitely, like, the entertainment value is most certainly there. You can't tell me it's not.
Our strength is in ad-libbing.
Ad lib. There you go. Point proven.
I'm starting this one drunk. Like, this is not my first one. I'm sorry, fellas.
I'm drinking coffee
anyway.
because I have work in the morning, and I'm gonna try to stream after this. So God help me.
Dude, we have work in the morning too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, you don't have to do. You're not gonna do stuff after this, are you?
I
I don't know.
I'm gonna
Alright,
be
well,
drinking
fair
while
enough.
I'm playing Overwatch.
I don't know. I don't know things. I'm just here for.
Dude,
Look, you're not just here, okay? You're not just here. Like, you are literally kind of the reason the show is live right now. Like, that's not a build 'em up statement. That's just fact.
In all
You're not
reality,
just
though,
here.
like, I should get trained on how to like post this stuff, because I do think my internet's a little more reliable than yours, Jay. And in the event Dev can't.
Yeah, I
commit
can
to
show
it,
you the
so-
entire setup when we get the chance. If you
Yeah.
want. Like,
I mean, obviously not right now. but-
not right now, but like, I'll give you all the. I'm gonna probably post all of our like filter information and pin it inside each of the podcast like things, so everyone knows exactly if they have to host it and have to change something, they know exactly what filters need to do what, so that they can
Gotcha.
capture everything perfectly.
So, now that we have coordinated and are somewhat getting our shit together, we're going to jump right in to some stuff. Quite a few things to talk about. One of the things that I am the most excited to talk about, one of the things I'm the most excited to talk about, and that's solely due to the fact it's out of spite. I'll admit it. I am very, very biased with my excitement towards this. That is Apex Legends is kicking all kinds of ass in the BR ring, has attained 50 million players already, which blows Fortnite's timeline way out of the water. I love it.
I'm curious why this is something that's biased for you. Like, I didn't realize you had a dog in the whole Battle Royale game.
He doesn't
Huh?
like Fortnite. So
I
that's
don't
why.
like Fortnite.
Okay, so this is
don't
not like a you enjoy Apex thing. This is just like you're happy for anyone that shoves one up into Fortnite.
Yes. But like,
Okay.
Apex is definitely it is a game that has earned it. Like,
Right. Have you played it yet?
I haven't, because my computer is still carrying over issues from last week, so I really haven't had a chance to run anything
That's fair.
horribly. But I have seen so much gameplay. Like, a lot of my favorite streamers are going through and playing it, and I'm just like, this game has earned its fucking stripes.
Well, let's hold off for a second. So I've been seeing the same articles you have, in that like it's been blowing Fortnite's records for gaining players out of the water. But let me say this, okay? Before Fortnite, and you're probably gonna hate me for like defending Fortnite again. I'm not a big fan of Fortnite either, but yes, PUBG and other things existed, but the main, like, Fortnite before Fortnite, PUBG and all that other stuff was not the main game everyone played. It was kind of battle royales existed, but they were kind of fringe. You know what I mean?
They were, and you had a
Right.
lot.
Things like Call of Duty and Overwatch and all this other stuff were still the main stuff.
Yeah.
And battle. So Fortnite created the idea that a battle royale could be the current popular game, so to speak.
And
so,
I
so
tip my
that
hat
I
to the
think
devil's advocate
takes
here.
that
No.
takes more groundwork to build up than it does when someone else is like, oh, there's a new battle royale. So if someone like,
Well, I'll also
does
say
that make sense?
Yeah,
So-
no,
the people-
I tip my hat. I tip my hat to your little devil's advocate play there,
and
because you are also correct. You're also very correct.
It
So
also gives
I
the
think
people-
I think the rate of Apex's growth. Again, I like Apex. I enjoy Apex more than I do Fortnite. But to say that for sure that Apex is going to win in the Fortnite fight, I think people aren't taking into other things into consideration.
Well, also
Marathon,
one of
not
the
a
things
sprint.
That
That is very
happened-
true.
One of the
Yep.
things that happened too was that one, to go back to the topic of Fortnite helped make these battle royales a thing again. One of the things that it did was that it helped battle royale the people who were tired of just having like team deathmatch, search and destroy style games, or hero versus hero in a move the point style games for shooters.
Yep.
It gave them something else. Battle royales have been around for a while. Like H1 has been around forever. Before that, you had Arma Battle Royale, and before that, you had the Minecraft Hunger Games. So the Battle Royale genre has been around for a while. But this, Fortnite made it mainstream, and Apex happened to drop at the perfect time during the longest season in Fortnite history. So people were kind of in that lull. There wasn't a lot going on with Fortnite other than the Marshmallow concert that happened during that time. So Apex dropped at a prime time to hit that market.
Yep.
So it didn't have the competition at its best, and I think we're starting to see things even back out now that the new season of Fortnite started.
Right, exactly.
And if you like just going off of Twitch viewership, like Fortnite went back to being over Apex after the new season dropped, which is understandable. It's new content, people want to play it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and YouTubers and influencers are, so they haven't abandoned Fortnite yet.
Oh god, no.
I wish they would, from a personal standpoint. And to be honest, my opinion of Fortnite is somewhat biased in the sense that like they eclipsed Overwatch, which is my baby. like,
Oh, the he has
like,
his own set of motivations for his bias. I
like
just
even
don't
if
like
even if
Fortnite.
Fortnite somehow develops into the greatest game of all time, like the Oasis from that one movie or whatever, like I'll always be angry at Fortnite for killing Overwatch.
That's
But that being said,
understandable.
yeah,
Okay, it's
Yeah.
also let's be real. Talking about the I won't call Overwatch killed yet.
yeah,
But we'll
I
call
was
it.
saying killed is not the right word.
We'll call it it's in the ER, and
Yeah.
it
I
put
won't say
itself
that.
there.
I'll say this.
No, I think Overwatch is solid.
It's
I don't
solid.
think-
It's got its core. It's got its
right.
community.
It's the same as it's moving into like its League of Legends life. So League is never going to be. So it used to be the top game at one point, like 10 years ago or something like that. It's never going to. LOL is never going to be the top again. But it's always going to have a core group that sticks with it. Same with StarCraft. Same with CS:GO. All these. So Overwatch is just developing into its. Into that.
Honeymoon phase is over.
Yeah, the honeymoon phase is over.
You're into that.
The quitters are gone, and now the hardcore fans are.
Well, and that's not to say I don't enjoy Overwatch. It's just I'm the kind of person who I get overly competitive in just casual matches, so it's not my style.
Ready? Oh, sorry. Yeah, Ready Player One, Steven. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Dev, go on. My bad.
But I mean, I appreciate what Overwatch does, and that's also, in all honesty, I do appreciate what Fortnite does, in the sense that like, it's taken another step for the gaming community, into the fact that like, CNBC is reporting about Apex passing Fortnite. When in the last 10 years was that like an article that you would normally see on CNBC? But because of, you know, Fortnite, because of Twitch streamers like Ninja, because of people who like, you know, have put this into the mainstream, it's gonna get covered. We're gonna see more of it. We're gonna, like we talked about last week, it's gonna be on main stages, you know, it's gonna be there. So like, to see it be a headline, you know, which game's gonna win this fight, I find that awesome. Like, it's a cool step.
Yeah, it's very true. And you know, again, I can't I really can't compliment enough Toarn's point that brought us to this point, that it was Fortnite that did, in fact, you know, Fortnite is the reason that Apex, you know, has the spotlight that it has, because of just what it did. Fortnite became the standard.
Fortnite built the groundwork for a battle royale to be mainstream.
Yep.
So
just a game to be, like, not to say that gaming wasn't in the mainstream beforehand, but it pushed the envelope.
Oh, no, gaming was definitely in the mainstream. We're talking specifically about the battle royale genre.
Which was struggling before Fortnite came along.
Right, H1
and
Toarn
had, or the PUBG had.
Well, we know a lot about PUBG and H1 and all those things.
PUBG had shot itself in the foot before Fortnite.
Right. Well, and those are still like kind of, you have to be a gamer to have been like someone who played PUBG or H1. Do you know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah.
So your casual play half an hour after work console gamer did not ever get into PUBG or H1 or anything like that.
No.
Until more recently, when they were on console.
Right, but they still never really succeeded in that regard. They just kind of branched out into it. But you know what I mean?
I get what you mean.
But your dude that spends 90% of his time in the gym and would never identify as a gamer but happens to play things knows what Fortnite is. Everyone knows what Fortnite is. People outside of the communities that we sit in. So it's changed into like the Halo kind of knowledge. Everyone knows about Halo, whether you're a gamer or not. And Fortnite's kind of reached that level.
And not to
which no other battle royale up to that point had reached.
Not to counter Steven, I'm pretty sure, I think League and Dota had ended up a national broadcast before then on like ESPN before Rocket League. But I could be wrong. I want to say it was, though.
I want to say at least League.
Yeah, I'm almost sure League was aired beforehand. But again, Steven, we're not talking about it. Fortnite breached for gaming. It did not reach new levels for gaming. It reached new levels for battle royales.
Yep. Which
battle royale gaming was still mainstream, and video games have been mainstream for a while now. People talk about it all the time in the news and stuff. But battle royale specifically was not mainstream. And so Apex when they announced it as the new battle royale competing with Fortnite, that immediately got a whole lot more interest than if someone had announced a new battle royale like 3 years ago before Fortnite.
Right, and let's to bring up fondly how the Fortnite VR even started it wasn't even meant to be the main game. Yeah,
no, it wasn't.
Was a time fill for like, hey guys, while we're still cooking up this super awesome PvE campaign for you, here's a little BR for you to have fun with.
Here's just something we threw together.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden people start playing it, and it's like, huh?
Yeah, I'm
like, you can honestly talk to probably a lot of these kids that play the game, and I speak kids specifically because they let's be real, like, they're not going to look past the, hey, let's go play this.
Most of the players are younger.
The most players are younger, but
they're the competitives.
Yep.
Not only that, but inform them, namely the casual youngers, inform them that there's a story mode with this game. I would guarantee at least half will go, no, there's not.
I'm curious if they're even still developing for that.
I don't think so. I actually think I think they finished it, and then I think it's like done.
Does it still stay? I haven't logged in a long time. Does it still stay in the startup page that it's in pre-release?
It does say early access.
I think the Battle
It's
Royale
still
does. I don't.
Okay,
I think the game may not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Battle
They need
Royale
to-
still.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Was the battle royale? They need to fucking fix that shit because I
Why?
don't care what you say.
the thing
It is
is-
not still in beta. Like, there is no fucking way Fortnite is still.
Yeah.
in beta. You can call it all you want. It's
It's totally a beta.
when you're in season like what 8 or 9?
Eight.
Season 8 now.
Yeah. If you have 8 seasons of beta, then you just fail as developers. But we know
Well,
they didn't fail as developers because it's a good game,
I
so it's
think
not
the-
in fucking beta.
I think the thing is that it's still. I think the reason why they're keeping it in beta is that it's safer because it's always changing. If that makes sense, like it's an always
Yeah.
evolving thing.
Like but that can be argued as it's a dynamic game. Like
exactly.
I love
I,
games that are
playing
full
devil's
release.
advocate here. I agree with you in this scenario, but I see from a developer standpoint that
No,
like beta is.
I
safe.
understand. I understand what you're saying, and again, I agree with you. They're just like covering their asses, but it's a lie.
It's,
Like-
yeah. Let's
Like-
call that what it is. Also,
Like,
Dev,
you can
I like-
announce it as beta, but beta is not meant to be like they're making profit right now. They're
Yeah.
developing to make money off the game. When you're in beta, you aren't trying to make money off the game. You're trying
Like-
to figure out the quirks.
and promote the game and be like, hey,
and
you
again,
got-
and again, there's every time they update, there's going to be things that they're going to have to tweak and all this other stuff. Like every time a new Overwatch hero comes out, you've got to like do some balancing. And that's fine. But then just to call that beta because you know that you're going to have to like change some things from now here and now is just. Again, I understand why they're doing it, but it's a lie. It's like when my buddy tells his girlfriend that he wasn't banging out some other chick on the weekend. Again, I understand why he did it. It doesn't change the fact that it's a fucking blatant lie. Like, that's just what it is.
colorful example.
Very.
You
Also,
know.
Dev, I'd like to point out that the last time that cat was involved in a podcast, we got one of our funnier clips as a result.
Okay, listen, I can't stop him from being on the podcast. Do you want down? Okay.
I'm pretty.
Jesus.
Cool, PETA, we're not affiliated with that, man.
He jumped! He jumped! And don't call PETA. PETA's a bunch of fucking assholes.
Looked like he was pushed to me.
He jumped off my palm! Into my desk, I'll say. He's not the brightest. He's the clumsier style cat. But so I'll jump into the article that I have up here. But yeah, Apex Legends had 25 million downloads in the first week, crushing the mark of 10 million over the first 2 weeks that launched in 2007 for Fortnite. Like, that alone is nuts. So, like, it's actually competing, which rolls into what we wanted to talk about with this in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we go. There's an ad with it. Whoops. Go away. Close the ad. There we go. But there's a new ping system in Fortnite, sorry. Which people are like, oh, it's copying. But one, ping system has been around in multiple games for a while. If you look at Battlefield, if their Battle Royale ever comes out, it will have that. That's a big if.
Let's be real.
But it's something that, in all honesty, Fortnite probably looked at and was like, that's actually something we should have had before. In all honesty, a ping system makes sense.
We were discussing this prior to stream. You made the argument that this is not copying to be copying, that this is Fortnite adapting to the competition. The way you put it, respecting Apex as its competition, saying, hey, we could learn something here. Let's apply that and see how that works out for us. And so, you've got the sides that will immediately take to the whole, oh, they're ripping Apex, blah blah blah. No, because the fact of the matter is there's no law, there's no unwritten rule that says a game can't adapt to what is clearly being a winning strategy. Like, let's, to take a play from another person's playbook that is successful at it, why wouldn't you take advantage of that resource? And so,
well, and it's something that you can't really, it's a ping system, can't really be sued over either. So like, it's something that, in all honesty, makes sense. It's a system that should have been in, like, it should be in PUBG, and it should have been in H1 as well. Like, let's be honest. If we want to talk about it, it's something that should be in games in general, because there are people who don't have mics. There are people who don't want to talk to people. They say, we've all streamed. We don't want to deal with, asshats who say vile shit the entire time they're on, mic. So we mute up before we mute, in-game lobbies all the time. This gives us a way to communicate on there.
Well, and as someone who has some experience in the, like, how IP works, intelligent property works, I mean, you can't necessarily copyright a mechanic in a game. You can copyright, like, characters and storylines and things like that.
And maybe details, like specific, like, details that are, like, unique to your game.
But it has to be extreme.
Yeah.
But mechanics are not something you can copyright. And even if they are, I mean, they are stealing, so to speak, but not in the, like, legal sense. They're not stealing. But if they are taking it from that's the one good thing about Fortnite. Again, I'm not a big fan of Fortnite, personally speaking. I don't like to play it. But I can praise the developers because they've done a very good job of listening to their community. For example, when they added the fact that you could pop your parachute at any time, and the community hated that, it was gone within a season. So they've been very good about listening to the community, and they're very quick to realize when something doesn't work and to adapt. And so, yeah, if anything, I think they should be.
And this is it's.
I think they should be praised for not doubling down on what they've had going and recognizing where their game can grow.
Instead of realizing something's not working, they realize something that worked, and it's like, here we go.
See, I'll also counterpoint that, though. There are certain times where they listen to their community maybe a little too much. With the fact that we've had moments where something good in the game is taken out because, let's be honest, one of the core audiences in Fortnite is the competitive scene on there. In the sense that, like, there's...
Ooh, I would argue that.
Well, I'm gonna go with...
The competitive scene is very strong in Fortnite.
Well, I'm
you
in the
don't
sense
think
of...
it is, or that it is?
Oh,
don't think
it is. Like, that's... They've changed some stuff to make the game more competitive. Because they see that, like, they see dollar signs, let's be honest. Because if you have competitive stuff for it, you get more advertisers on tournaments, you get your game out there more, you create more people playing it, you create more sales for in-game items, let's say more celebrities want to get involved, like we had Marshmello get involved in the game.
Right, but that's, okay, celebrities are not competitive.
No, but it helps with the
okay,
that's
growth. We do not have professional Overwatch play, not Overwatch, but sorry, we do not have professional Fortnite players.
Yeah.
Again, right, but if you don't have them, it's not really that competitive, is it?
I was about to say,
So,
like, I think
we have professional.
Fair. Okay,
We have Fortnite celebrities, we have professional Fortnite streamers, but there is not a competitive. There are not enough competitive things to where you can just play the game and not have to, like, produce content and actually make a living. So I'm going to argue this all day that Fortnite does not have a very good yet. It may develop it, but competitively speaking, it is way behind some other games.
Like, the closest thing, there was a tournament that was hosted. It was a live LAN tournament. That one of the biggest reasons why this tournament got the coverage it did and the production value that it did was because Ninja was actually was essentially the headliner player that was there, and to say that he is a competitive, he is a competitive Fortnite player in the sense of he's good. He's a pro.
He's good at it.
He's very good at it. But
Ninja
he's a
is
streamer.
He's a streamer. Exactly. He's a
streamer.
streamer.
He has a community that follows him, and that is what got that event its exposure in the first place. And
Exactly.
it was able to build on that because not only did they get Ninja there, but they got some of these other guys there, and then they also got some no names in there.
But I would argue that those are not, although they may be competitive in nature, like people are competing. I would argue that is not a competitive tournament. That is an exhibition.
That was an entertainment. That was an entertainment.
Right. It's an exhibition tournament.
Absolutely. It was an entertainment kind of deal.
I guarantee you there's some never recorded anything nobody out there that can wipe Ninja's pants every day of the week in Fortnite. But they just don't produce content. They're not a good public personality, and so they don't get known. And those people don't have a method for growing purely based upon their skill in the game. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
One of the rounds, like the way they did it was like round based. I don't remember how many rounds they did, but a freaking 13-year-old took a round, dude. Like Ninja was in the game, and a 14-year-old took the round. So not entirely sure what happened. I was just seeing this in the highlights. I was like, what?
And I'll say something else about it. The reason why is because you also got to look at it as there is some RNG involved in Fortnite. So you also got to look at that aspect. Like,
oh yeah.
There are certain things that even the best player can't be ready for. So that's something else that you got to be aware of.
No, there's also I think it's one of the things that appeals to a lot of BRs is that you just never know. But that was still just like out of nowhere. Like this kid was 13, 14 years old. I mean, he was in that realm, and he took a round.
No, it is awesome. Like,
but yeah,
to see
praising
that.
absolutely. Yeah, no praise. Yeah, no, Ninja praised him like he was doing. Ninja got brought in to do some commentary for it, and it was just Dev.
Hey, I'm engaging the chat too. Okay, I'm multitasking here.
I just saw your conversation with Steven.
What? We totally never get into full-blown almost arguments about debates. Excuse me. Don't know what you're talking about.
Uh-huh. I know that's not what Toarn's laughing at. Like, I know good and damn well that is not what Toarn is currently laughing at.
What is he laughing at? Did I type something wrong?
We're gonna move on.
Yeah, we're good.
We're gonna move on.
Wait, what?
So Days Gone, guys.
I don't have the article for this.
That's fine. It was an article put up by IGN, is where I got my source for it. They were able to get some exposure, actually see some full-fledged gameplay. They did about 5 hours. The first hour of it, yeah, they got to see 5 hours of play. The first hour was generally through the opening.
How have I not heard of this game? What's it called?
Oh, Days
Gone.
Is
the biker zombie game.
Yes.
The biker zombie game. You have heard of it. You have seen it. Look it up right now. You've seen it. I know for a fact you've seen it. If you've seen an E3 in the past 2 or 3 years, I know you've seen it.
Is it a video or is it the video or article?
There's an article. There was an article.
Got it. I found it.
But so the main the main thing that like their main summary line here is that it's a sturdy hodgepodge of familiar tropes and mechanics. So they stuck with a lot of familiar stuff, but the guy was essentially praising it like this is a solid game. One of the things that they did talk about, one of their little taglines that they've been putting for the advertisement of this game was that the world is out to get you. And he touches on this in the article, saying that yes, it is indeed out to get you. You must make sure your gear is like upgraded to its fullest possible extent all the time. He throws out as an example where he was at the mercy of a horde of freakers, which are the main zombies in it. His bike was out of gas. He didn't get gas at the gas station that he passed a few miles before because some other freaky things were in it. And he's like, nah, I'm good. I'll just go on. I'll make it. He clearly didn't. And it's just things can go bad very, very, very quick.
This is one that I've been on the fence
So
about.
basically you play as Daryl, right?
Kinda, yeah. Imagine a Daryl mixed with Joel.
If
From what I
Daryl
picked up.
was...
From Last of Us.
Oh, okay.
if Daryl was a biker, yeah.
Daryl is the biker.
Well, like, is Daryl nah,
Yeah, he's a biker. He was part of a bike gang, right?
Yeah.
I actually never knew that. Actually never knew that part of his backstory.
He spends like half the show on a bike.
That's true.
Well, yeah,
he spends,
that's like I didn't know he was
it's
part of a
more
biker
than
gang.
half.
I didn't
It
know he
said
was part of a
season
biker gang.
one
Let's put it that.
up until
Like,
current season.
He could have
Well, I
he
stopped,
could
like,
have
3
been
seasons
like
ago.
he could have been like a Harley enthusiast for all I knew. Like I didn't know that he was
You mean a
part
biker? Like, what else do you?
Like,
what,
this
do you,
guy-
what else
Well,
do
what's
you
he-
call
no,
that?
this guy Deacon, who's the main guy. Here's my confusion. Deacon to the main, who's the main guy, and this is a 1%er. Like he was actually part of a bike gang. Like that's where my confusion got drawn.
Fair.
Like
we just never see Daryl's bike gang as part of the thing, so we just see Burl. So I always imagine he'd be from like Sons of Anarchy style life.
that actually would be my comparison for Days Gone. Is like
Sons of Anarchy meets Zombie
But, yeah.
Apocalypse.
exactly. Like tell me you wouldn't watch that show. Like come on.
Yeah.
But the game's looking good. Here's the thing. From the stuff that they've always showcased of it, I want it to be good.
Same.
Because it looks like it definitely has the potential. But this is one that I'm kind of this could be good because it was pointed out in this article. Like, is it fun to play? Yes. Is it fun to play for 30+ hours because it is such a huge freaking game? We'll see. Like, is it just gonna be one massive grind fest all the way through, or are you gonna be able to do stuff that like keeps you like engaged and
We
like
should
want
start, like,
to do
when
that?
it comes to stuff like this, we should start like a rating system. Like, we classify it pre-order, hold off for reviews, or dodge.
Oh well, this one I would if we had that for like before game comes out. I'm waiting on it. I don't necessarily wait for reviews. I'll say that I wait to see the game on like. I'll watch it on Twitch, you know. I'll watch
that's kind of what I mean by wait for reviews.
wait to see kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put that to a wait to see because I with a game like this one, I'm not gonna trust the reviews. I'm gonna like see it.
Yeah.
And give it. I will definitely chalk this one up to a wait to see.
With interest.
I'm with interest for sure. Because I'm interested to see where it goes, and I hope it goes well. Because this would be a game I'd be totally down for.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, without Last of Us 2, with a confirmed date, it could fit that little that itch to play that game
Does
again.
it not have a confirmed release?
Not yet. Not that I know. We'll probably get something during Sony's press conference because they're not going to be at E3, so we'll probably get it this year. We'll get the confirmation date, which means probably either late this year or early next year, by my guess. We could see it.
Who are the developers?
Is it? It's not Naughty Dog, is it? On this one?
Shit. Hang on.
I can't remember because I remember seeing it and I was like, oh, cool.
Where'd it go? You know what? Ben Studio.
Ben Studio? Okay. What else have they done? The name's super familiar. I know them.
I haven't heard. I don't think I've heard of them.
I haven't heard much about these guys at all.
I know I've heard their studio before.
Hang on. They have done Uncharted, Golden Abyss.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. That's why I recognize them. They probably did a few Vita titles and
Resistance, Retribution.
That was the Vita one, right? Or was that the one that came out for PS4 launch?
That was PS2.
Oh,
that's an old one.
Damn.
The PS Vita was the Uncharted Golden Abyss. That was the PS Vita title.
Okay.
That you're talking about.
Well, and the thing is, they're like they've been with PlayStation for a while, so I have confidence that they'll be able to do something good with it. It's just whether or not it'll be a standout or a kind of like.
Well, this is a standout as far as their timeline is concerned, because just from the search that I just did, the Uncharted Golden Abyss was their last title.
Okay.
That their name was on, and that was 2011.
Fair. Well, I'll say
So
maybe
this
not
is-
like necessarily a standout for them because it will be, but I mean standout on PlayStation. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of titles on PlayStation that like PlayStation has been blowing it out of the water release wise. Like I was on this show when Spider-Man came out because you and me, Jay, we were fucking praising the shit out of that one.
Oh my god,
that was a fun podcast too.
Oh, I was so happy.
Dude, and like to be honest, I'm gonna be going back to that this month to do the DLC. So, like, it's gonna be fucking awesome. That I have
So
confidence
great.
that it will be better than what my fears have, but just because of recent releases that have just been crap. We'll be talking about one of them later, again, but it's one of those things that like. There's an air of hesitation with pre-ordering or even like getting a game on launch now, with games because like I was on for the 76 talk because I bought the game upon launch to try it out and man do I regret that.
Yep.
I dodged that.
Me and Steven
Alright,
did our best to make something out of that game.
We need to stop and move forward because.
But
otherwise,
that's why
every single episode of this chat will be the same
gonna-
rant.
Fair.
We're
but
gonna go.
That's why there's the
We're gonna
hesitation
go.
in the air, though.
We're gonna go. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
There's just-
Torn
there's
saw
an
the
air.
rabbit hole and that we were getting too close to the edge.
That's fair.
So-
You stopped me.
Good looking out. Good looking out, Torn.
But no, I feel like that's the reason. There's just a lot of hesitation in the air, and like if I don't know the game studio super well, or I don't have a hardcore reason to get the game because I've been a member of the series for a while, like Last of Us 2, I'll probably pre-order, just because I love the first one. I want to play the second one. There are games that I will pretty much pick and choose my games at this point for what I'll pre-order. It's never gonna be just an easy like, yes, I'll pre-order everything.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's just
Well,
the day and age.
I remember
Yeah,
back in the
that's-
day, it used
that's
to
kind-
be easy,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, it used to be. Well, I mean, we used to not get so many big titles every year. You know what I mean?
right.
Well,
Like-
I'll say this:
As a
we might not
gamer,
have
you
got
didn't
as
have to
much.
go bankrupt every year.
I don't think
Yeah,
we got
but,
as
like,
much press on.
There might
games.
be a new Halo. There might be a new Call of Duty back when Call of Duty was actually good.
Well, I'll say it wasn't as much press, and if we were younger, we only really had one console each. It was rare that you were growing up with the liberty to have multiple platforms to play on.
That is also true.
So you had a selection. Nowadays, all three of us all have a PC and a PS4, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I also have a Switch. So like, there are certain things that I'm like, we want to get for all of those because there's exclusives for them. Sorry, Xbox, you just haven't had those. Crackdown 3 finally happened, but
We also need to recognize that doesn't
Right back.
necessarily apply to everyone. That might just apply to us because as quote unquote gamers and tentatively we're breaking into the podcasting of gaming news kind of thing. We probably have more consoles and systems than the average Joe does. So 99% of people that play video games aren't going to be investing into as many systems as we do. So they may still have a limited amount. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. No, it actually does make sense. I'm sorry.
Like-
I'm just distracted by our chat right now. Why is this discussion still going on? And how did Nolan North get involved? Like,
What are they talking about?
I don't even know.
What did I miss for baby talk in chat? What is baby talk?
That's what I want to know.
Who's chasing? What are you on right now?
they're talking about me and Steven's argument from this weekend, or last weekend,
Everything yet nothing.
2 weekends
That
ago.
is what they're talking about.
I wear the
as-
pants in the relationship. All right, that's all that matters.
Cool.
But yeah, anyway, to kind of get back on topic, yes, PS4 has won this console generation. PS2 and Xbox were kind of close. I would argue that Xbox
PS2 won.
360,
PS2 one, it had the most console sales until PS4, and Wii.
Well, that's by console sales though, but like in terms of like
Content,
the games.
Yeah.
For it,
Well, I'd say
I would argue that the games for Xbox were far more impactful than the games for PS.
Well, I'll say, but
if
they
for
were
no
more-
other reason than Halo. Halo, like.
But if we're going PS2,
But anyway.
then I could throw in Jack, Ratchet, Sly, God of War.
Yes, but those weren't as universal. Does that make sense?
I guess it depended on the areas, like I guess the
Right.
circles you were in too.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get at. Is that
point, like
Jack-
Halo has
Jack and
just made-
Daxter and Ratchet and Clank? If you're a gamer, you absolutely know what those are.
True.
If you're anyone from our generation, you know what Halo.
know what Halo is.
All right, that's fair.
Like, because
but
I
wanna
got
say-
introduced to Jack and Daxter. Understand that is one of my favorite series from the PS2 days.
Okay.
The release on PS4 came out. I scooped those boys up in a second. Like that's not the point.
I'll say this then.
It's like
I think
Halo's
Halo
immortal.
became the
Well, there is.
mainstream during the 360 era though, with 2 and 3. Because the first one did release on PC first, and it was then on Xbox.
No, it did not.
Yeah, it didn't
No,
release on PC first.
it was
No, it did not.
console first.
Console first. It took forever for it to come to PC.
No, I swore it was the other way around.
No.
No, console first.
There was a re-release for PC called Combat Evolved. The PC version was literally even had a different name. Me and Jay actually have a very specific history on why we are so familiar with this.
That's fair.
But anyway,
I'm not. So.
But I will admit that between PS2 and Xbox, it was very close.
Mhm.
PS3 and Xbox 360, I would argue
360 blew them away.
360 blew PS3 out of the water. But
360.
But that's
PS4,
also because PS3 decided to fucking price itself $600 fucking dollars.
Right, PS3 made some mistakes, but in this generation, Xbox made a lot of the mistakes that 360 did. Not 360, but PS3 did. So PS4 there is no argument that PS4 has won this console generation.
The only thing I'll counter with, and it's not really a counter, it's more of a, and then they exist and do their own thing and, always succeed, is just Nintendo. Like, you need to put, like, a Nintendo column on its side, and then Nintendo.
It's like another category. It's like PC. PC, I guess, technically they compete with console, but not really. Nintendo doesn't compete with the other two.
And
they're just their whole different thing.
And to add to the Nintendo thing, and then we're going to talk about the next subject because we even actually tried to make a plan today, guys, and we're not doing it, which is fine. Nintendo for this one with the Switch, I believe, in my opinion, has done more than exist. I think we can all agree that they most certainly have done more than exist. Anyway,
Switch definitely okay. So you can only really compare Nintendo to itself.
Yeah,
I would say that the Switch. So the Wii, I think, did really good because it was the first motion control that actually worked at least semi well.
It was in every household.
Yeah, everyone had a Wii.
It really was.
So, but I would definitely say the Switch destroyed the Wii U.
The problem with the Wii U was we've talked about this before, was its marketing, because you didn't know if it was an add-on to the Wii or if it was its own thing.
It wasn't revolutionary enough to separate itself from
but
the
the
original.
Switch is a logical step forward.
The Switch is this whole new thing, and it was just really smart for Nintendo. They're doubling down on that handheld that they have dominated so well. Their only competition, like we've talked about, is PS Vita, and
that exists.
That's not competition.
and that wasn't really a competition.
Okay, the only
existed
competition.
back when it was just new. There was it was just existing on its day one. I'm sorry.
Its only competition is its own Nintendo 3DS, 2DS line.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And that's not even competition. That's what you call user preference. Appealing to user preference.
Let's be honest, there's a chance I'll get one just to modify it to be recorded off of, so I could do Nuzlocke. There's a good chance. Honestly, I'll probably buy a 2DS, 3DS before I even get an Xbox One. Again,
are you still considering buying an Xbox One? That's not even
I may
anywhere.
have to wait till the next generation because there's just nothing to play on it.
Well, it doesn't. Nothing. So it doesn't have anything that you'd be like, I have to play it on Xbox. It doesn't have any. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on this word?
Exclusives.
You're right. It doesn't have any exclusives that you have to be like.
Which is
"I
something
have
we've
to
talked
play
about
that."
every time, and it's their nail in the coffin right now.
Right.
It's
There
like
are
the
great.
chance that Scaleborn
there are
could
great
potentially
games.
end up on Nintendo.
Right.
Which is the
there are
game-
great games for the Xbox One, but they're also on the PS4.
And since we already have that one, it's like, hey,
Yeah. Why would you spend extra money? Like, you're the only one of us three that has a Switch, but both me and Jay have talked about and pretty much confirmed that we're going to get a Switch at some point, if not in the relative near future, because there are some must-have exclusives for the Switch, like Smash, the
and
new
out
Pokemon
of
games.
nowhere's like Octopath.
that is
the-
true.
And
That is
also, I'm
true.
probably gonna.
I
play
read,
new
I
Fire
read the
Emblems
stuff on
that.
Octopath, and then you brought that up, and I was like, wow. Hey,
Well,
that
I mean,
actually.
and like we
that
talked
was a
about it during the
big
Game
leap
Awards,
for
you, me, and
Bungie.
Steven talked, and Zoe talked about Octopath was just it came out of nowhere and blew people away.
Yep.
It's probably gonna be after I eventually get done with Breath of the Wild. That might be the next Switch game I pick up. That or Fire Emblem. I don't know which yet.
I want to say Octopath was for PC as well, wasn't it?
No, just Switch exclusive.
Yeah, I think
Really?
there was
Yep.
one that.
I could have because
It was a Square Enix, because Square Enix has always worked closely with Nintendo. So it's a Switch exclusive.
That's not true.
No, they've always worked closely with Nintendo. Like all the way back to the GameCube, they had the Final Fantasy that was an exclusive.
Before GameCube, Square Enix was purely a Sony boy.
Okay, yes, but I'm saying like as of more current
Rec-
times,
in more recent years,
Recent history,
yes,
yeah.
Recent
they've
gaming
played well.
history,
They
if
were
we're going
they
down
were
to-
first bought and paid for by Sony. I mean,
Oh, no,
yeah,
I
but
agree,
they
but
were
they've been
well
able
in
to
Sony's
branch
pocket
out a lot.
back in the day.
Um,
Yeah, no, it's fine. But
It's like how
but-
Bungie used to be Xbox's little good son, and now they're like, we're everyone. So
I was not playing Final Fantasy VIII on the Nintendo 64.
no. So moving on, because this is an interesting subject to me, and it's actually one that Dev has an article for, so I'm sure he'll be thrilled.
yeah.
Is Activision facing legal action over losing control? This is the article title, by the way. I think it's the one he sent me. Activision reportedly facing legal action over
Oh,
losing
wrong one.
control of Destiny. Did you not?
I had the wrong article up. My bad.
Which one did you? I don't think this might be a different one I looked up. Either way, yeah, Activision is apparently their investors who lost money in their price dive after they split with Bungie. They're looking for legal action.
Potentially,
be
there's a law firm that is sniffing around and seeing if they can get a class action lawsuit started. Essentially, what happened
The
was
basis of this. Go ahead, Dev.
essentially what
You
happened.
found.
What is before the Activision Bungie split, which we talked about when that happened on here. They had essentially almost said that there's going to be a long relationship with Bungie, like 2-3 months beforehand, which essentially investors look at as, oh, that's confirmation that things are going to be good. And then, 3 months later, Bungie's like, hey, we bought our ways out. Bye. We're going through, because I can't remember the company that did it, but it's a Chinese company that earlier last year they had paid $100 million to Bungie. So I think it's looking at like Bungie almost publicizing its games, with that company helping do that. I can't remember. It might be somewhere in this article. But essentially what happened is after Bungie left, the stocks for Activision dropped and they haven't recovered. They've just gone downhill since.
Which is interesting because
Yeah, to be honest, to me, like, I don't know necessarily if they can be blamed for that. So in order to be sued, you'd have to like know for certain that was going to mess with your stock price.
Okay, I'll have
And
this
pulling
next
out of Destiny after Kate is dead seems like a good business decision to me.
It's funny you bring this up,
Destiny
Toarn.
died with Cade.
so the trick,
It's
though,
funny
is, like,
you
their
bring
whole,
this up.
Their whole basis with that is, I kind of agree with Toarn, but what the angle that they're kind of playing is, according to these articles, is like they never announced it. Like they were like, we're not. It was like apparently it was just like Activision made no word
Yeah,
that they were, because that's the thing.
And
losing control, like, I think is poorly worded, because they're like, this was like a thing. It's like, we've agreed to go our separate ways, and so their investors and their stockholders are looking at this like, no, you lost control, like, you lost this, like, why did you let this go? And when in all reality, it was like they didn't lose it. They're like, bye.
pretty much.
They let it go.
And
Because all of their analysts that wrote these articles when this happened, because we covered it, they're saying it's not going to be a huge loss. It's not going to be a huge loss. You know, we are going to see some loss, but it's going to be like, you know, it's going to be marginal. It's not going to be huge. When
And
they had points off that day.
they
were
had
already
points off
losing
that day,
from
and
day
they
one.
went down dramatically afterwards. Plus, Bungie has kind of been hinting at this throughout the last year since that investment. They've pretty much been like, yeah, we're looking at, you know, trying to do other things potentially. Not saying they're leaving, because probably some legality stuff that if they said they're leaving, Activision could be like, hey, what are you doing? And face consequences for that. So they played it smart. So Bungie is essentially not going to be in the wrong here. It's Activision who can be in the wrong here. And it's honestly just trying to find a class action lawsuit is, you know, a group of people together suing a corporate or individual kind of thing, right? For losses, right? Is
right.
that the technical? Let's this layman's terms.
Right. Well, I mean, the shareholders of Activision can't sue Bungie for them losing money. Like,
exactly.
Bungie has no responsibility to make Activision shareholders
especially
money.
when they paid their way out.
It's
They paid
Activision.
$1 million
Activision
and...
is facing.
Well, but that's what Dev was talking about. He was highlighting the fact that Activision is the one being sued, not that Bungie is not at fault. Of course, Bungie's not at fault. They don't give a fuck if Activision goes under tomorrow. Like, they don't have any obligation to make Activision money.
Because for now, like, they're not going under with Activision, so it's like, bye. Yeah, and it's like,
it sold. Bungie essentially paid $164 million to get out of that.
Well, Activision paid money to get out of it?
Bungie paid to get out of that. Sorry.
Okay, so Bungie paid Activision 164 mil.
Yes, to get out of the deal with them for Destiny. So now they have the rights to Destiny, and they're on their own.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I don't know the specifics, and maybe there's something in there for it. But I'm hearing is that Activision made a really smart decision. Like, Destiny's dead, man. Like, it's not.
It's not. Well, it killed its. It's not necessarily. I'll say this. It's mostly dead due to the fact that Activision was pushing pay for this down everyone's throat, while Bungie wanted to kind of have a more, like, loose pay version, if that makes sense. Like, pay for what you kind of want, not what is needed.
Well, and on top of all of that, there will be the community that is currently sticking with Destiny game, even in its current state. It's a very dedicated community, and I mean they've got to be at this point.
I'm gonna have a look at Twitch right now and see how many people viewers Destiny has.
Less than 10K. That's my estimate right now.
20K. I'm gonna go higher.
That's which is good. We need to have some disagreement. It's probably like right in the middle.
That'd be funny.
It is not 8.3K.
Oh. All right, you're right. Hey, you were actually almost pretty close to that. Actually, good job.
And apparently there was a brand new DLC that I've not heard about. Season of
I haven't heard of that either.
Yeah, we're all out of the loop though. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Well, but come on. Anyway,
like we said,
according to Activision, so honestly, what boils down to is it's kind of, a lot of accusations of greed were thrown in the directions of Activision, like, throughout.
RuneScape has more viewers than Destiny. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but that has to be highlighted. There are more people watching RuneScape than Destiny 2 right now.
Cool. Yeah. So there's no redeeming for that, and that's not really the route I was going. But a lot of people were saying, Activision's being greedy and this and that, and this shows that their investors and their shareholders are like, no, we're going to sue Activision. We're going to sue the people that made the sound business decision at the time to leave what was a dying game. Granted, it can also be said
Well,
that they made the
Activision
game
didn't make the
dying in the
decision.
first place,
Bungie
but now
made
they're
the
just like,
decision to
fine, we'll
leave.
just let you go off on your own. We'll take the 160 mil or whatever up front as to kind of like recoup some loss, but
That 160 mil did not make up for what lost in the stock market. Let's be
no,
honest.
they didn't. And again, because here's the thing, though, it was like I think this kind of, to me anyway, and I could be wrong. To me, this shows that Bungie is still Bungie. You know, these are still the guys who have delivered in the past, and now that Activision is no longer hindering them, it's like, or flip this all the way around. Bungie is not like boosting Activision. That loss is what directly translates to that stock price going down.
Well, yeah, I guess I don't know. Now that I think about it, there might be a case for being upset that maybe Activision should have covered the separation better to highlight
I think
the
that's
fact
the
that,
thing that people are more getting at.
and
Like,
maybe they
should be
should-
more
should-
open about it.
so they didn't highlight the fact that people are buying the rights to this dying game from us. Again, they don't have to highlight the fact that they're the ones who killed the game. They're just
But they won't.
just if they'd announced better that they had been paid almost $250 million for the rights to the game, then maybe their stocks wouldn't have taken such a hit, as opposed to the story being that they're just like dropping out of it, which sounds bad. It's much better to. So I guess maybe there's a case for that.
Yeah,
that
and
their-
at that
their
point,
PR could have been better.
at that point, they yeah, I mean, that was kind of the story, you know, it's just like we have decided to split. Any way you look at that, it was bad on the side of Activision, good on the side of Bungie. Like
Yeah,
there was
Bungie
no way
just comes out on
there was
top.
no way you could look at Activision at that point. While this was the way that story was told, and been like, hey, good move, man. You know, we know kind of that it was a good move on Activision's part because it's
Well,
Destiny's
we know
going
that
nowhere
it was
fast.
it was a good decision on both parts.
Yes,
it was good
that's
for Activision, good for Bungie, and maybe they should have come out together.
Yeah.
And like announced like, hey, we just realized we're not really compatible to work together. We have very different concept of how game development is supposed to go, and we just married the wrong person. So.
Yeah.
It's not your fault, kids. It's we still love you.
This is on mom and dad now. Like, we gotta.
You're still gonna have a Call of Duty Black Ops 32 in 2021. Don't need to worry about it.
Okay. There's just some things we don't joke about. Okay. Some things we don't joke about. So, yeah, we got all that, and then on top of that drama, there is a little more drama erupting.
Ooh.
In another game that I was a big fan of going out. I haven't had a chance to play it much yet because my computer is like going haywire.
Are we talking about the fact that Anthem sucks?
We're talking about the fact that Anthem sucks, really. Like you honestly, so is that where you land? I want to hear this first.
No, okay.
Because you've had it, like, so like you don't think it sucks because like I was under the impression you were pretty good with it, like for.
I enjoy it. I personally don't really think it's worth the hype that it originally had, and I know a lot of people are disappointed in it.
There's more disappointment.
So, well, and this may tell you more. This may say enough, just in and of itself, as I haven't played it enough. I haven't felt the need to play it enough to reach the end game. So I don't even know what the end game's like personally. So maybe if it was a better game. Again, every time I've played it, I've enjoyed it, so to speak.
Right.
But I normally with a game that's had the level of hype that Anthem has, like once I get off work or off school or whatever, I want to like immediately jump on
Straight to yeah.
Right. And I'm just not finding myself doing that. Again, it's not like I dislike it, but it's just kind of it's so. It didn't really live up to expectation.
A lot of people that that they've done reviews of it, you read articles on it, and it was. The general consensus is Anthem has received a lukewarm response. People don't hate the game, but this is not the next big thing.
It was,
which to me is very sad to hear. But in relating to Anthem, this is oh my god, this is EA right now. Before we go any further.
Oh no, this actually, I'll be honest, this isn't even
Oh,
EA.
it's EA.
This
It's
is,
EA, but it's also BioWare.
This what we're covering is BioWare. Full disclosure, this isn't an EA problem because they have no hands in this to cause this problem.
Fair.
And I am a huge BioWare fan. Like, I love BioWare.
Same.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I understand what Dev is giggling at now. Yeah, okay, we'll cover this first. There's a second thing that's almost as stupid.
Okay, is there an EA stupid thing you want to go over after that then?
Yeah,
Cool.
you go ahead. I was about to.
There are
I'll
PlayStations literally bricking from Anthem being downloaded on it. Because what will happen is you'll close the application, the PlayStation will turn off, and you can't start it back up. And
yeah,
it's like, this is a Reddit. There's multiple Reddits of this. And there's you could show 500 comments about this. Fun fact, it's not just PlayStations. There are some Xbox reported, and even PCs aren't even safe. Like, the PCs may not brick as much, but they might. There's a lot of crashes on PC as well.
Well, but I mean, PCs are so non-uniform that you almost kind of expect that there's going to be issues like that. Not necessarily breaking, but there's always going to be issues with PC. The fact that you can release a game on a console
for the past 2 weeks, so there's always going to be issues on PC. Right. So yeah,
but I mean, because they don't know every single combination of what a PC is. But the fact that you release a game to a console where it's all the same,
like,
that's just bad.
And again, so let's
PS4s don't change. Like, I mean,
right,
yes,
to approach this,
there's PS4 and then there's PS4 Pro.
To approach this from an honest and critical standpoint, we have some idea about the development process. You know that in the development process, there's a certain hardware that you have to attune to. This hardware runs this much stuff at this rate, at this timing, at blah 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 blah.
There's no wiggle room in a
no,
console.
there's not. This is the box. Everything must fit very nicely in the box.
It's very easy to work.
And the fact that you're turning these next gen consoles into the most expensive paperweights that you'd ever buy.
And to say something else, I'll say this: you're making Sony even doing like, "Hey, we'll refund you." If Sony is even going like, Sony, the sticklers of refunds. There are some people reporting that they've gotten refunds over this. It's fucking insane.
Apparently, I need to download Anthem on my PS4. I could use a new one. It's been a few years.
But like, anyway. Jesus Christ.
Okay, this story terrifies me on a number of levels. Number one, because when I was so aggravated that my
I know what you're gonna say. I knew
that my dated computer couldn't run Anthem. I was like, maybe I could just drop the 60 and buy it for PS4. Okay, this was a thought that was in my head.
We talked about this last week.
Yeah, it never made it to the practical stage of maybe
it's the game. Yeah. Maybe it's not me.
But that's the thing. They're literally turning away people from buying it on console because they're like, I don't want to brick my $300 to $400 machine because I want to play a game that maybe runs.
You know what this kind of reminds me of? Is when Microsoft released a console that if you bumped it would destroy your game permanently. Like, no engineer in the entire development process thought that, like, hey, maybe with a little vibration, it might be a good thing that it doesn't, like, burn a hole through every single disc put into the console. No, it's fine. No one will ever bump into their console. That's such a crazy idea. That's not going to happen.
I think actually, I think maybe with the Microsoft console, I think maybe that was brought up in the meeting, and I'm thinking that's probably how the meeting went. How badly this has turned out, I don't think this was brought up. I honestly would believe that this is one of these things to where they didn't even cover it. They didn't even cover it. There was no memo. There was nothing. There was like, good job, guys. Like, we got it. We got the game done. That was.
But I mean,
that was all that was said.
Maybe it slipped
with the amount of playtesting that I'm not going to say they did it, because I feel like if they did do the amount of playtesting they should have done, they would have caught this. But with the amount of playtesting that they should have done,
yes,
they definitely should have been aware of this. So again, there's either one of two situations. One situation is they didn't do the amount of playtesting that should have been done, or two, they knew it was going to happen and were like, "Fuck it, deadlines," and just throw it out the door anyway.
Fix it. Oh, so with the 6-month resub.
Brother, I still want to play Anthem 2, but my computer can't run it. But yeah, no, it'll happen. Yeah, they should have, what should have happened if this error, which I mean, this error was obviously a thing, so there's no if. When this error was first a thing, they should have got the people who were in charge of PlayStation should have got a call from their budget department asking, "Hey, why did we just have to buy 5 new PS4s?" And that would have been the answer of, well, funny story. We need to fix that.
Well, and I guess that's my question is, can you still buy Anthem right now from the PlayStation Play Store? Because that's the first thing I would do is like immediately stop all.
Get it off the store. Like,
yeah, get it off the store.
Yeah,
so is it still there?
I think it's still there due to the fact that, like, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think it's still there, if I remember correctly. I haven't actually. I can pull it up on my phone real quick.
Well, that's bad on Sony. If it still
that's bad.
Let me double check. I can't confirm or deny that. Let me pull up the PlayStation Store real quick.
Unless it's been patched. If they've patched it,
I don't know if it's been patched because this came out 2 days ago. I think the report. I saw this. If you want a better in depth of everything that we kind of gone over, most of the articles I've gotten were through Inside Gaming. So credit where credit is due. They're really good at it, and it's how I've picked up on a lot of the information.
The other stuff is on IGN tonight so far.
Yeah. Credit where credit is due, and you can see all the articles that we've gone through. I made sure to make sure you can see those. But like,
I want to give you guys some credit. What credit?
Let me pull it up real quick. Anthem.
Not only that, while Dev is fact checking,
it's still on the store. I don't.
Ooh.
Okay, but it's also, I don't think it's affecting it's affecting a handful of people, so it may not be a widespread problem.
I don't care. Like,
exactly.
There's no situation where you should be trying to sell something that has the potential to destroy people's property. Like, that's just at a minimum bad business practice and probably illegal, frankly speaking. If you have credible information that your project has the potential to
I'll say this, it's
to a console,
at that point it's going to be
until you get it fixed, you need to take it off the store.
Yeah.
I don't. Well,
you're just if that's on your store as Sony, in my opinion, and I think Toarn will agree, you're just as liable.
Playing devil's advocate, I will say I think more people are going to blame the EA BioWare side of things, though, and I think
I don't care who people blame.
I know it's not. I'm playing devil's advocate.
Like, the fact of the matter is that Sony has chosen to work with Sony and Xbox and all these other people have chose to work with the developers of Anthem, and so they are at least they aren't fully liable, but they are somewhat liable for the product that comes out of that. There should, like, they are responsible for making sure to providing oversight, if nothing else. And if they're just going to keep taking people's money and destroying people's property in the process, even if it is a small amount, that's just.
Well, I'll say this.
That's scummy. That's scummy. That's what that is.
Okay, I'll counter it with, but if for some reason it does break your console and they do reimburse you on it, I feel like they're taking the profits from the working versions and they're still going to come out on top.
If they are in fact throwing out refunds, then I will replace scummy with inefficient and saying, dude, just take it off the store for a while, get it. Like, either way, you cannot convince me if it is still an ongoing issue for them to have it on their store. Like, you cannot convince me that it needs to be there.
But
an advertisement for it, yeah, like, post it up, it's like, hey, Anthem will be here soon, they're going over some stuff. You know, we'll keep you posted. You know, don't like remove the advertisement for it, but like remove the download from your store.
Yeah.
So that way you don't have to give refunds anymore.
Fair. I'm gonna counter with one other thing though. If that's the case though, and because it's not it's more common on PlayStation it looks like than it is Xbox. More people will maybe go to Xbox to buy the game. Then let's say if for some reason you have both consoles, congratulations. But PlayStation can also look at it as a chance that they may lose sales on it. Which again, this isn't like a defense as in like. This isn't me playing like this is a good reason. It's more of a business reason, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They don't want to lose out on market essentially because you want to capture if the game is on multiple consoles, you want to capture as much of the market as possible to bring in sales through your store or your disc, however you buy the game. And
again, I understand the thought process on it. I understand. You don't want to lose the market. I'm just saying it's a douchebag thing to do.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna argue
There's
it.
really,
Like,
yeah. I mean,
like if there is a woman that I have somehow managed to convince to do anything I say, it may be financially viable for me to pimp her out. That does not make it a good thing to do. That's not. It is still a fucking douche move.
oh my god.
All right.
What the fuck is with Toarn's analogies tonight? What the?
I don't know, but I love it.
Sometimes, in order
Steven,
to
go
be a
back
decent
through this,
person
get
or a
the
company,
two quotes, and
you
we're
need
making
to accept
shirts.
the financial loss. Okay?
We're making Toarn stickers out of these.
Oh my god.
Now you're making
They're
smart
great.
business
They're
decisions.
great analogies.
May not be the right decision, but it's a
Actually-
smart business.
I actually agree with Soy. That may be that I am a little drunk myself now, but that is where we're at.
fucking hell. But yeah, no. So what was
Tornisms.
your
Tornisms. We're calling it now.
Tornisms, goddammit.
Tornisms.
The Book of Tornisms. All right, Steven, when you go back and watch through this, get the two from tonight, and one at the beginning of the show and one now. I'm gonna add a mark so you can grab it.
Even more Soy will.
So what was your other Anthem news about EA?
Okay,
I'll be
so
right back.
here's the thing. We're gonna you know what? I'll wait, because Toarn hasn't heard this yet. And
Well, we can riff a little bit then.
there-
If that's so, in all honesty, Anthem has had, I don't want to say, I don't think it was a worse launch than the other Thou Shall Not Be Named game from last year, but damn is it getting close. The game that I will rant about.
70,
yeah.
never mind.
That
never
wasn't
mind.
last year, that was 2-3 years ago at this point.
We're on the same page now. We're good.
Okay.
We're good.
But
We don't need to talk about it.
It's getting there. Like, if we're gonna go on this topic, I think 76 had a worse launch than No Man's Sky. Honestly.
You said it.
I said it because he's saying No Man's Sky had the worst launch ever.
He is trying to rank it as the worst train wreck ever. You know what? Yeah, it still holds the.
I gotta give it to 76 though. Like,
No, I'm sorry. Here's the thing. 76. The difference between, and I can't believe we're fucking doing this again. Dude, I blame you. And
we
Soy.
gotta riff until Toarn gets
I
back.
blame you and Soy. I don't care. We can riff. There are dozens of things you could riff about.
Yeah, but we gotta riff about Anthem,
No,
which has got a
we have
bad
to-
launch, which leads us into this. Hi,
Yeah,
I'm
here's
here
the-
and I
here's the thing.
shit
No,
on
no, no.
games.
No. Fallout 76 had a bad launch. Anthem has kind of had a launch.
True.
Okay, by comparison. Now, granted, depending on if you're talking to PC people or console people, then yeah, Anthem has sure as hell had a bad launch. But as far as PC goes, where people can actually play their game and not have
True. And I'm saying it's getting there. It's not
Yeah.
at a 76, but it's starting to have some of the same stuff because buggy
here's the thing.
games that are unplayable.
I refuse to believe because of all the hope. Damn it! And he's making me jealous. I want more beer now. You're making me. I'm gonna have to go get more beer now because I'm not liking how far ahead you are.
You could catch up
Are you
and-
talking to me?
Yes, I'm talking to you.
See,
Like,
this is
you
what
come-
happens when you become the host. When you become like the producer of a show. The host decided, you know what? I could drink now because I don't have to take care of the tech work.
Are you
We're
fucking
the
kidding me?
talent. Thank you.
I got. Are you kidding me? And
we
it's
deserve to
and
be
it's
treated.
and it's not like I haven't done my fair share of not sober Tpop producer, host, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Let's be real.
Fair enough.
But now that Toarn is back, I didn't want to go over this without you present because I think you're gonna find this incredibly dumb and stupid, even by EA standards. Okay, you ready for this? Yeah,
Whoa,
that's right.
that-
EA standards. I want you to just fathom this for just a moment. Just appreciate this bar that I'm setting for you. All right, setting for you and everybody else in the chat.
You better
right?
bring it, man. You're setting it up.
Right. So
Do you have an article?
I do. I will link it. Can
Send
you
it to
actually
me
add it
on. Send it to the Har Twitter messages.
to the Twitter.
Yeah, I have the Twitter up right now.
Okay. So my delay here is this is Dev's fault.
Sorry.
So is that
It's just
fault.
so I have it. It's so I have the article.
All right, hang on.
Overwatch is gonna be fun after this.
Okay.
We're gonna lose
All
like
right,
300 SR.
so-
I don't care.
So,
God damn it.
EA has apparently banned several players, including one fairly prevalent streamer,
Oh, this.
for exploiting, or rather, taking advantage of a
That
few
is-
little glitches in the game. Now,
Okay.
the Anthem, taking advantage of glitches that would give you a leg up in a 100% PvE game. And they have thrown out the ban hammer to that.
Like permabans?
I don't know if they're permabans, but right now those accounts cannot access Anthem. So,
Can you imagine if, like, when we were like 9 years old, or like actually it was more like 5 or 6 years old, playing Pokemon Red, and as soon as like Missing No, like you did the Missing No trick, you got an email from like fucking Nintendo saying you're never allowed to play the game again.
right. Like, are you kidding? Like, but seriously though, now if this was like a blatant exploitation in an MMO, in a regular MMO like WoW or any of these other ones that is like,
Maybe
hey,
even
you're
Destiny.
breaking the game, maybe Destiny, but also in the same note, like, no, these are glitches, meaning this is stuff that you as a developer
Exactly.
overlooked
The
in
developers
your
fucked
damn
up.
game. In your damn game. And it's like, no, we're not going to punish the developer. We're going to punish the player for looking at something that, hey, this is fun. Let's just keep doing this over and over again. You know,
I have
A
something
player
that I can
finding a
compare
bug in
this
your-
to.
a player finding a bug in your game, that is the
That's on
developer.
you.
The developer silent thank you, because it should be a thank you to the player. Their silent thank you is fixing the glitch. Like, hey, cool, these people did this. We need to do that. Problem fucking solved.
You know what this
Like,
reminds me of, and I don't want to go back to it, but it's eerily similar to something that you and me and Zoe talked about when it
Yeah.
happened.
Don't
Was
do it.
I'm sorry, I have to because it's literally almost point for point, and you know it once I bring it up. Is when someone in 76 found the developer room in the game and broke the PvP world. Remember?
Oh
It's
my
almost beat for
God.
beat for that. But this is a PvE world where it
Yeah,
doesn't
this
even
doesn't affect
matter as
anybody.
much. Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's like the most critical argument you can make against the player for doing something like that is this right here. In terms of the developer, it's, well, you're ruining the experience in the game. It's meant to be harder and blah 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 and blah 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 blah
They
blah
paid
blah.
for the experience.
And they also paid. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, but seriously, the only thing
Experience they
is,
want.
yeah, they're getting the experience they want. Like, they paid freaking $60 for your damn game, at minimum, and they're just like, no, like you're banned. You're banned. Like, are you kidding me, EA? Like what kind of money making strategy is this? Like, you're a bunch of money grabbing assholes, and yet you're turning people away, saying like that they found shit in your.
Well,
if they buy another account, they're more than welcome to come back.
Right.
Jay and I talked about this beforehand too.
Yeah.
Is that an easy comparison is to the loot cave that happened in Destiny 1. But they, like, Destiny literally saw that happen and was like, all right,
Dude,
you guys get to have this for a month.
Can you imagine if Destiny threw down the bans for the loot cave?
We all would be fucked. I would have been banned so fast because I was there almost daily for a week.
I think we all were
like, and then you would visit it like every other day.
When that happened, like me and Caver and Soy and like 3 other dudes were just like, we just chilled on top of that cave, and like that was like our hangout.
You
It
guys
wasn't
hang
even,
out
we were
on
even
the-
playing the game. We were sitting there and talking and shooting shit. That's all we did.
I did not take advantage of the loot cave as much. I kind of wish I did. But I wasn't there for much. It was mostly just.
But could you imagine if Destiny literally tongue-in-cheeked about it too? After they got rid of it, they put that little thing inside the cave that you could walk up to, and it would whisper to you and be like, it was essentially a monument to the fact that there was a glitch in the game. And they realized it, and they're like, you know what? This is funny. Like they made it a tongue-in-cheek thing.
It was hysterical. Like they made their little homage to it, and they were like, no, EA's just a bunch of fucking assholes.
For a PvE.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And
like if there was any element of PvP, and this exploitation was affecting the PvP to where, yes, they're giving themselves unfair advantages. They know they're giving themselves unfair advantages. I could.
It would be slightly more justified.
It would be slight, yes, but not to the point where it's like, come on, like, are you kidding? Like, and then here's the thing. This is the part that really annoys me. Like, this is from a company who exploits their player base on the regular. Like, do we need to talk about all their pay-to-win bullshit that they've pulled? Like, seriously, like, they're the ones that if you were to put a side-by-side comparison between every player in their player base ever versus them as far as who's exploited who the most, like, hello? Like, EA is there. Like, EA is going to come in first every single time. And Dragon, I'm glad you love my rant. And Chasing, bring them the fuck on. Yeah, I'll do it.
Well, I mean, if you think about the vast majority of EA's games, though, we kind of talked about this earlier, is that there's like basically 2 kind of people that play video games. There's like the gamers like us, and then there are the casuals. So
nothing wrong with being a casual. I'll say that.
No. Again, not a bad thing. But back in the day, like, not everyone played video games. Nowadays, everyone plays video games. It's just to the degree. And so EA targets the casual gamer, the dude that just plays an hour of Call of Duty or an hour of Destiny on the weekend or something like that. That's
they're the ones that's most likely to buy their shit.
Right. Most of their games target that audience. Battlefield is
EA
a
Sports
good example.
games.
EA Sports games, that kind of stuff. The casual gamer. Again, that is not a dig. Like the casual, I'm all for casual gamers. Casual gamers are what brought gaming to the forefront.
Also, let's be honest, like, we were all a casual gamer at one point.
Right, exactly. So, but that's the target audience of EA, and those casual gamers that don't look into it as much are the ones who are much easier to rip off.
The ones who won't make an entire podcast to talk about these things.
Exactly. That don't spend like 4 hours reading articles on the industry and things like that.
And while reading on the industry, lose their faith in humanity little by little.
Yeah. You know, dudes that like work
like not
instead of learning
company,
this stuff,
but one
work a little harder to get rid of this crap. Like those dudes. So what all we're doing here is highlighting the fact that jocks are getting fucked, so we're saving their asses. It's not nerds' revenge, it's nerds.
Oh my gosh.
That's what this
well,
is.
I'll be honest, I think the whole, like, let's be honest, from a social kind of standpoint, like the jock nerd kind of stereotypes have kind of faded because more people, I think gaming is more universal than it used to be.
Well, no, that's kind of exactly what I was getting at. Is that the jocks are gamers now? They're just
exactly.
they typically are more the casual gamer.
Yeah, they're the
And
casual gamer.
Because
Even
they
some-
have these other things in their life, other than us, that this is basically all we have, and other than existential crises from
I
time
used
to
to
time.
play soccer.
I played Chibo.
Hey, fuck you! I was a keeper and I was stellar.
Dev, I feel the key word.
Another
Yeah.
Toarnism. Marking it.
I love
There
it.
it is.
I love it.
Fucking
Absolutely.
3 and a night. This is gonna be. We're gonna have a little fucking booklet for it. Oh
But-
fuck.
So, yeah, and it says it. Okay, chasing.
Not exactly what I predicted my Pornhub.
I think we just
one of
learned-
the reasons why
I think we just learned a lot from that sentence right there.
one of the reasons why I love having Chasing in a chat, because she will destroy the innocent.
Not give
But
a
yeah.
fuck.
Not how I expected my Pornhub debut to go. But anyway,
Yeah, no, it's just, man, the fact that, like, I'll be honest, the fact that I'm able to make comparisons to the game that we've all loathed from last year is a problem for Anthem. Let's be honest. It's just they need to recover from this if this is ever gonna work.
It was stupid. This thing is like this game's got potential. Like, I mean, it's got.
I think that's everyone's big thing
its
about
own
it. It's got
unique
potential.
world. It's got a story in place. It's got like that's nothing. As for all the glitches that people have run into, one of the things that people have loved about the game are the characters that are in it.
well,
it's like-
the characters are good. For an MMO, it's actually really beautiful. So again, there are other games that are just as good graphically speaking, but none that are an MMO, so to speak, if you know what I mean. It just kind of works.
Well, I got a question about it. 'cause
The
I
combat
haven't looked
system is
super
revolutionary. Like, I'm hard pressed to think of anything that's the same. Like, there are similarities between it and like Destiny and other things, but there are some very new things about the combat system. So again, you're right.
I
it
heard the
has a
movement's
whole-
very unique. Like, that's the big thing it's got. going
Yes,
for it.
mobility is like, if you really.
I do have one
So
question.
if
'cause I
you
haven't
don't
looked-
take advantage of the mobility, it's just like Destiny. But if you take it the full advantage of mobility, it's a whole different game. It's a
I
whole
have
new
one
game.
question about it because you keep calling it MMO. Is it like, you know, you walk around, you run into other squads out in the field?
No.
Yes.
I didn't. Okay, so I didn't know that because I was told like the way I seen it was you instance into the free explorer and there were already people. There could be people in it. People join.
Right. Well, okay.
Kind of like
So MMO
map
doesn't
out.
necessarily mean that there's like a grand world that everyone's in. MMO refers to any game that has like more people than your party. But so basically, if you think about patrols in Destiny, do you remember how those worked?
Yeah. I think we all
So-
remember how they work. We just haven't done
Yeah.
them.
So
in a minute, yeah,
yeah.
we haven't. Done them in
but
a
like
minute.
free roam in Destiny is kind of how it works. Is like you'll be running. So there's not like people all over the place, but you do run into people and you join them and you help them and you
See,
cooperate
how
and stuff.
I've almost wanted to coin a different term for them. It could still be MMO, but it's not massive. It's major online. Like, because it's not like it's not like.
So,
as
so
big
you
as,
mean
like,
it
a
would
WoW.
still be an MMO?
Or how about a
like you're a
NBOMO, not or NABOMO, not as big
not
online,
not-
massive.
I think we're done for tonight.
Yeah.
Like,
So someone jot that down. The devism.
Is
I
that a
think if we're
devism?
going in. I think if we're going into this
Not as
category,
big. What the
I-
fuck, dude?
Oh,
we're
wait, no,
going
there's-
into this-
I added an extra O. It would be an NABMO.
Dev, stop.
I gotta get the abbreviation correct. Massive online, or
Nabmo?
well,
Nabo.
Nabo. Yeah, multiplayer online. So it'd be not as big multiplayer online.
See, if
we
we
could
were
take
to
out
release,
the A, you know.
if we
NB.
were to release that,
No.
that would put us on the same level as EA. Like that's a half, that's a half-ass product if I've ever heard one.
A not as big.
Damn.
Multiplayer online.
Damn.
Hey, that sounds a lot like Anthem.
And again, damn.
All right. So do we have? I know we have more
do,
topics.
we have
than
a
this.
couple
What's
more
next?
topics if we want to finish out the hour, maybe, if you want.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll be right back.
Okay. Me and you-
Start them up. I'll join in.
We'll go over the Cyberpunk 77, which this one I know people are interested in. Potentially, we're going to get its release date soon. The studio has had a tendency to kind of... They've had a tongue-in-cheek way of doing it, where information will come out before the EA, or the E3 press stuff happens. E3 happens, they announce the press date. Usually about this, like, it's on timeline with previous titles by them. What? Because they're Project Red, right? That's the studio doing it.
I think so. That sounds right.
Yeah, CD Project Red. So essentially, the big breakdown is that if you go over what they did with Witcher 3, I think it was, that the timeline that this is on is almost identical right now to what that was. So we could see them essentially announce the release date during this E3, and potentially have the game this year, if not early next year. Which would be stellar, because seeing that gameplay was fucking phenomenal. Let's be honest. The game looks like it's gonna be great.
I don't think I've seen the gameplay yet. Do we have a video
do
of
yourself
that?
a favor. It's on YouTube. It was their E3 gameplay trailer that they released. It was one of the highlights, without a doubt. It's one of those things that just like you saw it and it's like, okay, this is what they've been working on. I want to play, because this is I think it's first-person shooter RPG is what it was, if I remember correctly. It's gonna be
More Division or more Destiny?
more, let's say, Witcher with guns. Like, imagine, like, interactive world with guns in Cyberpunk.
Okay.
I cannot do it justice by explaining it, because the gameplay trailer does it far better than me.
Okay.
It's really cool, and the fact that we may see more of it this year is going to be really fun. Like, it's one of the E3 things that I'm anticipating. Like, there isn't a lot of E3 I'm like, I need to see this. This is one of those, though. So, like, I'm looking forward to it. If they do announce the release date, I don't know if I'll pre-order it, but this may be one of those ones that I see like an hour of gameplay from, because they pretty much did an hour of gameplay last year for it. But if they do, this may be one of those ones that I watch a streamer for like an hour or two and then be like, all right, I'm getting it now. So it's something that I am anticipating, because I'm also a huge sci-fi fan, so this is right up my alley.
Well, that's what I was about to ask, if you're a big Cyberpunk fan.
I haven't been huge in Cyberpunk stuff, but like I just like sci-fi in general.
Okay.
Like me and Steven have had this debate on Critically Casual. He's more into the fantasy stuff. I'm more into the sci-fi. So like when movies tend to have one or the other, one of us tend to lean a little bit more towards it. Not that I dislike fantasy or he dislikes sci-fi. We just have a preference, right? And this is one of those kind of games that I am looking forward to. So if they do announce the release date this year, that'll be so awesome, and I hope it does come out this like December, early next year. Hopefully we're allowed to do the coverage we did last year. Me, Jay, and Steven did a lot of coverage for E3, just sitting there, hanging out, watching some E3 release stuff, which was pretty fun. So hopefully we can kind of pull that off this year again. So
I'm pretty buzzed at the moment. E3 is like in June, right? If I remember correctly.
yeah, it's June.
Yep,
Okay.
June.
So I should be free to do that. Cool.
Yeah, it'll be one of those things that I would love to do again, because it was pretty fun. Even though we kind of ended up doing it during one of the.
It was so lackluster.
We did it during PlayStation's, which honestly they did more during their actual press conference than during the E3 one, because they also didn't really. They haven't cared about E3 as much recently due to the fact that like they have their own thing, and they have enough confidence in their own thing that people are going to go watch their own thing. So,
Like they had enough to like keep us interested, but it was like also we are talking about Cyberpunk, right?
yeah, we're
It's
talking about
right.
Cyberpunk right now.
If they do the release date this year, which I hope they do, but I also hope more that they do it right this year.
Yes,
Because just from the stuff, from the minuscule, the way that they've bragged about the game, from the minuscule stuff that they have bragged about, it's going to be a massive game. Like I heard in passing as I was getting my stuff that you compared it to Witcher with guns.
yeah.
Right? It's gonna
Mhm.
make Witcher look very small.
Well, that's the thing. Like
From
that,
the
from
stuff,
that gameplay
like
we
from
got to see
I'm
last
talking
year,
like talking about from the map. I'm talking about from the scope and the decisions that your quests can make, which Witcher
Really?
did very well. Witcher 3 did it very well in terms of like diverging paths and like quest choice and consequence and stuff. Yeah, even
Well,
by
yeah, I knew that. So you really expect Cyberpunk to surpass that?
that's what they're
If-
claiming it
if
to be.
what-
And from what you saw from gameplay, it looks like it has that potential.
because
Last
they
year's gameplay showed that a little bit.
they showed the difference. I mean, it's like, and what was even scarier about the actual size of a game like this from that is that I'm fairly certain one of the quests that they showed was kind of a branch quest.
Not
Like,
a main story quest.
No, and it,
something
like
like
that branch
something-
quest, like mission,
It
took them,
affects
like,
the main story, but it wasn't like the
it's like an
central
hour of
part.
gameplay for just that one mission, pretty much. Of that, what they showed, it's like 44
Ooh.
minutes to an hour, but it's all entertaining. Is the thing.
yeah.
like,
It's, saying, like,
it's
it was all good.
like just a
So-
side quest that keeps you that entertained for an hour in just a side quest.
Well, my hesitation with that is not necessarily with the fact that I would think I would get bored over an hour. It's that I'm not even going to say I don't know about you. I know about you guys. I don't have as much time to game as I would like.
Yeah, I don't either. That is the part about
It kind of like harkens back to like the discussion we've had about Civ. Is that I love Civ. I would play it all day, every day if I could. It just takes so fucking long that I don't ever get to pull it out because.
Yep.
So I think part of game development is you have to balance and recognize that a lot of your
yeah.
I think
No,
they're
this is-
capable of doing that, though. Is the thing.
This is, from what I've seen, this is my crowning concern for Cyberpunk 2077 as a whole. Like if I was to say if someone was to tell me I was allowed to have one concern and nothing else about this game, it would actually be that. The fact that this is such an ambitious, such a huge project,
it's so
that
in
I
depth.
actually will not have the time that is needed, not even just wanted, that is needed to adequately enjoy the game.
God damn it, chasing. But I'll say this.
Don't even try in that time.
For me, I'll say this. As someone who is yearning for another game that I can do a really good character game with, and this is going to be a create your character style game. I mean, I've been debating going back to redo a Skyrim playthrough, but part of that is that, like, you do Skyrim so many times, it's still entertaining, but, like, I need to figure out what kind of character I want to do and all that, right?
Yeah.
Because I like doing characters. Like, that's just something I like doing. I like playing Dorkbeard. I like I like being a character in the game. So that's one thing I liked about Dead by Daylight with friends, where, you know, hunt your friends mode, is that I could be a scary killer, or I could be, hey guys, I'm Dwight, your mechanic. And if this game could give me, like, I can do my own character and, like, go full in depth with it, that's what I'm hoping for. So maybe it's gonna. What I would also like for you guys.
So you're looking for a really good role play experience, is what you're saying. You
Yeah,
want to be able to
it'd be fun for me to be able to, like, delve into a character and have fun with it, like I've done before. So,
And to have it as a new experience, yeah, no, I fully believe that Cyberpunk that will deliver that.
oh no, and that's what I
Like-
expect. But I see your guys' concern. But I'll say this: if a mission takes about an hour, is that too long? Or and it feels like a fulfilling
For a
hour.
side mission, yes. Even if it's a fulfilling hour, that takes too long. I don't think this mission was an hour. I think what they showcased.
I think it was multiple stuff, but like the mission took a good chunk of it. I feel like it's been a while since I watched it.
I feel like a good mission should be about half an hour, frankly speaking.
A side mission. Or
Okay,
like
no,
any
that's
mission.
fair.
Yeah, because I mean,
God damn it, Jay.
for the most part, I think a lot of people have like an hour, maybe even 2 hours to dedicate when they play. But I mean, your worst case is someone who only has half an hour, and I think you should, play to that regard.
True.
If that makes sense. So like, if you've got an hour-long game, hour-long missions, you're gonna cut out some people who are gonna be able to do stuff. If you've got like half-hour missions, the people that can only play for half an hour get to do one mission. If you have an hour to play, you play 2 missions. So I think in that regard, I think that's probably a good time frame. Half hour to 20 minutes. There's a reason that most TV shows, most animes are 20 to 30 minutes.
Yep.
Most YouTube videos nowadays are about that long.
I agree.
Because that's a good time frame in today's world that people have free.
I think that I think so. Like the hour that Dev was talking about, I think what a lot of that video also showed was alternate endings for that mission, like
That's
ways
true.
that it could work out.
It's
spent
been
an
about
hour
a year since I've watched it, so but it was still
because
really
I remember the mission, the weapons buy, like that one.
yeah.
Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, the one they showed last year.
They showed, so what they did with that is they showed they actually showed the tense talk your way out of it route. And so that was the route that took the longest to show, mostly just due to the fact of all the dialogue that took place in it. But they showed the multiple outs, which there was about 3 or 4, counting the one that was taken. And so, and again, I think there was to call that one a side quest, I don't think is 100% accurate, but definitely more of a branch quest that is going to affect your standing. It's not a side quest for side quest's sake. I actually don't think if this game has side quests for side quest's sake, there's going to be very few. So like any arcade games, like for fun things that you can do in the world. But I honestly, this is one of the things that's shaping up to be that a lot of your quests, most of your quests that you'll be doing, will have some kind of meaning and direct effect to your story, and either to your benefit or to your negative.
So last topic to round out the hour that I had found for today is that potentially we'll see it. Another E3 thing that we will be potentially seeing is Xbox to potentially reveal their next console, which is nicknamed right now Xbox Maverick from what people are calling it. It'll be, from what it looks like, it will be a digital only console. Which I think the idea is, from what I've heard, there might be 2 versions of it. The base version being the digital only version, and like a bigger version that can do discs. But given the fact that the industry is pushing towards being a more digital industry, I can't say this isn't a bad idea from them. Given that also a lot of their library nowadays for like play the games that you can play backwards compatible wise is all on the digital market, which is what most people I think are using the Xbox One for. I don't know anymore because the Xbox One doesn't have a lot of exclusives.
Yeah.
We'll see. But it looks like they have plans to discuss it at E3 2019. So we could be seeing them talk about it, which could either mean this end of this year or end of next year area. So maybe a year time frame on it, I'd say.
I see
Well,
that. I see
this
that being
is-
a next year thing. As far that's my guess.
Well, we have to take this with a grain of salt, though.
True.
People have been talking about cloud gaming for a long time, like since like even the PS2, like saying it was the next big thing, and it's been really hard to implement.
Well,
Yeah.
we also haven't. I feel like we're finally at the age that, like, from a PC standpoint, we pretty much have cloud gaming. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, again, it's an option, but people. So something being doable and people accepting it are two very different things.
Which is
That's
why
the
I think
thing.
they're going to start out with having.
Which is
the
why
two
people are getting
options.
mumps nowadays. Like, so, but
also that's why I feel like that's why they're going to start with the two options and probably phase out option 2 for the digital eventually. Like, it's going to give people the two versions of it. One's going to be the sleeker, smaller version that does the, just.
is it cheaper?
It'll probably be the cheaper version. The version that you just do digital.
Is that just speculation, or do you
That's
have
the
like...
speculation, I believe, but it also would make sense because you don't have to add a disk drive to it then.
Oh,
So
Which
if
makes
it's
production cheaper.
if it's cheaper, I would say it's a good call. If it's not cheaper,
that's the thing, because if it's you have to give some incentive for people to trust something that's so
adopt
radically different.
right, to
Exactly.
adopt the new system, you have to give them a reason to.
Well, and that's the
And
other thing we
make
have to look at.
Knocking some money off a full console release, that would do it. That would be a great start
exactly.
to do that and
Like-
show us that it's dependable. Because
well, that's the other thing. The other thing that people would fear too is technically when you buy a digital copy of the game, you're buying the licensing for the game.
Right. You don't actually
Technically,
Uh,
our entire Steam libraries could disappear tomorrow, and we really can't do much about it.
Right.
Not to say that there wouldn't be a lot of, potential lawsuits, stuff like that would happen in wake of it, but it's one of those things that technically
It's
does
like the
exist.
difference between having like cash money and owning gold. Gold just is valuable.
Yep.
Cash ultimately is just paper.
It is.
And so if the economy crashes tomorrow, gold will still be valuable.
Yep.
That disc will always be there. A digital copy requires a certain amount of faith in the system. Same as cash. That we don't necessarily have yet. And this is from someone who's an early adopter. Like, I know Jay buys Caver, still buys physical copies of a lot of his games. I think the last time I bought a physical copy of a game was like over 5 or 6 years ago.
I did do KH3 on digital because I was sick of waiting.
Yeah. But so again, I'm fully in support of the system, but there are challenges involved. And we have to play to our weakest links, the individuals who don't really want to trust the new way of doing things. So that's just the way it is.
Yeah, but we'll I think we'll see how it goes. E3 is definitely looking like it's gonna be interesting, given the fact that there's no Sony there. So this means that everyone has to kind of up their game because one of the biggest draws there is gone. So it gives people kind of that ability to just see what they can pull off this year. They don't have some competition this year, so.
Yeah, I'm somewhat curious as to like what Sony's reasoning is for that.
They feel that they can do it better as their own. They feel like essentially what we covered it when it happened. They essentially said, if we can do more at our own individual, like press corps release thing.
Are they doing their own thing?
Yeah, they're doing their own thing. They're gonna have a Sony kind of E3 style thing, just on their own, separate date and everything. And they feel like they could just do it on their own. And in all honesty, I was on that show when we talked about it. They can. It's Sony. They have enough people that'll check it out.
This sounds. I mean, their explanation for it sounded really pretentious, and then they backed everything up that they said.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they have that right. Like we were talking about earlier in the show, they won this generation.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, sure.
They're top dogs right now. So I mean,
it's essentially what Nintendo does, though. Nintendo does directs throughout the year where they say, "Hey, we're going to be doing this, by the way. So check out this direct where we're going to talk about this." Yeah, it's essentially a Sony direct.
Sony doesn't have to win; they just have to not lose at this point.
Which there's the only competition they have console-wise, like sales, is the Switch. But that's just because the Switch has such there's such a gap.
It's not even competition. Like they aren't.
And we talked
they
about
aren't fighting after the same market. It's Nintendo. This PS4 and the Switch are two separately different things.
Exactly.
Like you you don't decide if I'm going to get a PS4 or a Switch. You just decide if you want either one of those. Like
It's
Yep.
more like the choosing one of those two. Like it's not. It's
does
competition,
does the
but
Switch
it's not
apply to me?
competition.
Yes or no? Does the PS4 apply to me? Yes
Exactly.
or no?
If answer is yes to both, hi.
Then you buy both. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're not really in competition with each other.
Yeah.
You know,
that
going
was-
back to the subject of like, because I haven't read the article yet. Going back to this discless Xbox. I would like to know, really, because this is kind of out of nowhere, really, in terms of, you know, like the new console. Because I'll be straight up, and I really haven't looked for it, and so this is probably on me. But Xbox Maverick or whatever the heck they're calling it, this has kind of been, this is a fairly new development, as far as I know.
It's been in circulation for a little while. I think for a few months there's been the rumor mill has kind of been like there's been people kind of on Reddits and stuff like that being like leaked information, which Reddit is, despite it not being a great place for information, is also a fantastic place for information.
I mean, it's either way, it's information overload. Whether it's accurate or not is
exactly.
You know.
But the fact that there's a lot of murmurs inside the gaming world about potentially another console, it's there's enough speculation and enough of a, you know, low rumble about it that there's probably something coming. So it's been talked about long enough that and Microsoft hasn't dismissed the rumors is another big key about it, because you could, if they dismiss the rumors, then there's obviously either they're just lying or there's nothing there.
You mean Microsoft?
Yeah, sorry, Microsoft. But if they don't say anything, it's because they don't want to reveal anything. So,
But like, so here's the thing that it confuses me a little bit in terms of why the one part about this that really I have my doubts on is the discless thing, to where everything is going to be digital.
Well, I'll counter it with how Microsoft has talked about the Xbox One, as they want to keep the Xbox One as its final, like the final name, sort of, but they're going to modify it and create different versions of it, similar to how PC has different markets to it. This would essentially be a different version of it for the people who don't want to buy disc versions. You're essentially creating a thing for the people who need that in the market.
And again, and the people who need that in the market are the people that, again, as me and Toarn were kind of talking about earlier, you know, this thing needs to be cheaper than a regular console in terms of, because less mechanics are involved in this, less production is involved, and that kind of thing. But at the same time, though, you know, people, you know, like me, because I do prefer my games on disc. You know, that's just my preference. Am I opposed completely of buying them digitally? No, of course not.
But you're gonna need some reasoning beyond it's the new system.
Yeah, I will need
to move you to the new way of doing things.
Well, I'll say this, for me personally, part of me doesn't want to get an Xbox One. One, because I don't have room for it where I have all my systems. But if it's smaller, sleeker, and doesn't need discs, like that may even draw me in a little bit more. Even though I love buying a hard copy for all my PlayStation games. I have a hard copy for every single PlayStation game I pretty much buy, unless it's the free game from PlayStation Plus. That's pretty much how I've done it. So to have like an alternative for that other console, it doesn't take any more shelf room. It may be sleeker and easier to kind of set somewhere. That may draw me into it, I'll be honest. And as long as it's cheaper, like let's say max I would pay for something like this is a $300 mark. I'll say that. Maximum. If it's more than the $300 mark, then I probably would not be interested.
Well, I think $300 is definitely the max I would ever pay for something like this. But it also depends. I don't know what the Xbox One is selling for nowadays. I don't think they're selling for like $400 like they used to.
I don't know if they are either.
So
also,
I would at least
no. The Xbox One S is the cheaper one, and then you have the Xbox One X. Like that's the thing. Like the Xbox One.
And
X,
what are they selling?
What
for?
are they selling for?
I think the Xbox One S is the $300 option, and then the Xbox One X is the $400 or $500 option. It's similar to the how the PS4 and PS4 Pro are. Like the PS4 is the $300 option, PS4 Pro is your $400 option.
Okay, so this one needs to do one of two things. It needs to at least be $50 less than the Xbox One S, so $250, or it needs to at least have double the storage capacity.
Yes.
Yeah.
If,
I'll say, 'cause,
I would
like,
say
if
even
you're
if it has
if you're-
triple to quadruple, I'd be sold.
Yeah, if it has like triple to quadruple, I would be perfectly happy paying the same amount. Again, this is coming from someone who's never going to buy an Xbox One.
Yeah, but like just from a console
on
in
wood.
general. From a console in general,
But-
yeah. If you go and this is what you're offering me, it's like, hey, all your games are digital, but you have literally triple the storage capacity of the original. Then it's
that might work for me.
yeah. I mean, that
Because arguably that's the most annoying thing about my PS4. Because like I said, I am mostly a digital player. I can't remember the last time I bought a physical copy of a game.
But deleting
it's
games just.
But
to...
I am constantly deleting games and installing old games and working with my memory. If you can give me enough memory, like basically the same amount of memory that my PC has, where I don't really need to worry about that so much, where I can have more than 2 or 3 games installed at a time, that would be worth maybe paying as much for the standard console.
or like me, someone, give me something that I don't feel like I have to purchase an external hard drive for, because that's actually what I did to mitigate my memory.
Really, you did for your PS4?
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
no, I
they
totally
do sell
did. Yeah.
ones that work well for it. Like they do sell add-on ones for your standard PS4s that work well. I'll say standard PS4s from before the Pro came out, because the newest version of the regular PS4 does have a lot more room on there. But the newest or the older PS4s do not have as much room. So that's the big thing. So the adding terabytes of room is mostly for us who have the older versions. So myself. So
well,
yeah,
I guess
we'll see.
I guess I hadn't thought about that, because that's kind of where my PS4 is pretty fucking old at this point. So I want to say I only have like 250 gigs or something like that. Whatever like the smallest one is.
Yeah, I think the standard for the new ones are just like a terabyte. Like standard. So
that would be much better.
I think that's the standard for the regular PS4 now, if I remember correctly. Or it's closer to that. And then the Pro, I think, definitely has a terabyte, if I remember correctly.
But to kind of get back to if that's what the standard PS4 is right now, and it's like $300, or that's what the standard Xbox One is, then I want at least that plus more if I'm going to pay the same amount of money.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
No, yeah, I think that's all we can agree on.
If I'm going to lose my disk drive, I want more storage. Even if I
need more storage.
Yeah.
So again, in all digital download, it's
You don't have a choice. You have to do it that way.
But yeah, that was fun.
Either way,
I'm glad you had a good time, Dev. We enjoyed having you.
Either way, yeah, we enjoy
Last
having
couple of weeks, it's been nice having you here, buddy.
we enjoy having you here, hosting us and making sure our shit don't crash repeatedly.
Hey, I think this podcast is a lot of fun, so I don't want it to go away. So I don't have access to it right now, because I don't know what you sent me it on. You just said you sent me it, and I don't know where you sent me it. So to Twitter? I don't have any messages from you on Twitter, do I? Oh, you sent me it on there. Okay, give me a second. Oh, it's the boat one. Okay, yeah. Hold on.
I'm on a boat.
I don't know. This thing looks. I was kind of watching the trailer, like to the side. Like, I don't know if this is a game I'd be interested in. It looks adorable. I'll get that much. Like, it looks absolutely adorable.
That's what I look for in my games, is
Right,
adorableness.
signed it.
Yeah,
Alright.
and you have
Signed in on
struck
my
gold
Twitter.
then.
You know a game I want brought back? Katamari. I have not seen we need some more Katamari games. Beautiful fucking Katamari. You probably don't even know what that is, Jay, do you?
I don't.
I know Soy does. Katamari is a game while Dev is doing his thing. where you start out as a tiny little ball and you just roll around the map, slowly picking up things that are bigger than you until you eventually like absorb the world. And it sounds really stupid, but it's fucking hilarious. Dung Beetle Simulator. Yep, that's essentially what it is. Beautiful Katamari. If you haven't ever played it, that's your homework. We need to start assigning homework to each other. That's going to be our new thing. Me and Caver are.
I don't need homework.
Yeah. Dev is another thing. He's our boss. It doesn't count. So.
Wow, somebody clip that because we'll deny it if you don't.
So I'm actually, as executive decision as a main host of Tpop, I'm deciding now. From now on, me and Caver are going to assign each other homework before next Tpop. So mine for you is that you play Beautiful Katamari. There's multiples of them. Choose one. I don't care which one. What's yours for me?
Oh my god.
New segment on the show.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
I'll probably have to be. I don't know.
Ooh, we've put him on the spot, boys and girls.
I know. Like, I can't think of anything.
I guess we'll have to come back to it next time. I guess.
Because no, I gotta think of something because like.
Don't overthink it, man.
All right, no, I got one for you because it's a game that is still free, and since I'm going to do that, I guess just to give you something, like I'll be more creative next week. You get to play Dauntless some and see what's changed since we were last on it.
Okay, I got that. I can do that.
I might join you for that. I've been wanting to play it again, so I'll go into character mode again.
Oh fuck! I want to play Dauntless too. Like, hang on, can I join?
Yeah. I guess.
Well, Caver's welcome to join me. I am not up for any of Dev's characters. Dev.
What? Come on! My characters are fantastic.
No,
Dev is more than welcome to join me. Dev Beard.
It's not a dork beard this time.
Or any other dork something.
This is not a dork character. This isn't even like this isn't like this isn't like a Duncan or what was my fucking Red Dead character's name? I don't even remember now.
I don't fucking know either. I remember it was a weird ass name because I was watching that game and I was like,
but it abbreviated to Dev because the Duncan one abbreviated to Dorky. He had 5 names.
DorkyDev is the only person allowed to join.
Maybe.
No, the majority rules on that, like because it's like if I'm in this, yeah, it's like come on.
Come on, my characters are fantastic. Anyways, make sure you follow the Horror HQ on Twitter.
Also, we are carrying you in Dauntless. Like, we are carrying you in Dauntless.
I'm not even that far behind.
Oh, you're far enough.
I was handling things on my own really well too when you guys all left. So.
All right. So plugs.
Follow Horror HQ on Twitter. Keeps you up to date with all of our podcasts. We have 3 throughout the week. We got this one on Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You've got Har Podcast tomorrow. I'm going to be on there. Toarn's going to be on there tomorrow.
Yes.
So watch that same time as this one, just on Thursdays. And then Critically Casual, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I gotta do time zones in my head. For Critically Casual, it's our movie podcast on Sundays. We're gonna be going over Captain Marvel. Potentially Toarn might join us for that too, from the sounds of it. So that'll be cool.
Yep.
But yeah, I just had to do that plug.
What you got for us, buddy?
So the Twitch normally is twitch.tv/GamingCaver. Still taking the break from the regular stream schedule. Follow me on Twitter for updates and such. So no new news quite yet. But side stuff I have been working on, I will announce next week.
Copy. All right, and I am Toarn. Twitch.tv/Toarn. also on Twitter. I do not hate Frankie, but I kind of do hate him. So feel free to follow. I haven't been good about streaming lately because of school and life and stuff, but I'm always on Tpop and usually on her stuff. And I look forward to seeing you guys. Caver, you want to close us out?
So once again, guys, thank you guys so much. Hope you guys
Don't worry,
enjoyed
I
it.
won't plug my stuff, guys.
We will see you again next week.
For the record, we gave you the chance. You chose
I
not to
plugged
take
the
it.
hard stuff, man.
The show is over. Shut your mouth.
I'm DorkyDev. Follow me on Twitch and Twitter.
But say it's funny that he still feels like he needs to rush because he is in fact hosting right now.
I have to piss right now.
Fair enough.
Let's go.
All right. So, I mean, how long does the riff usually go for at this point? 'Cause, I mean,
Usually we just kind of fade out at this point.
do we?
Must say, yeah.
I mean, it's the second time I've done this, so it's still a learning thing, you know. Should I
Well,
just
look,
kind of...
we understand that you're new, but you need to start getting with the program. All right, like you just gotta, like it's not that hard.
Listen, new guy. Like the training period is only for so long. Like